Welcome back, and thank you for stopping by for week 6 of NFL action. Weeks flying by. I'm not liking it. I just want to start off by saying I appreciate y'all rocking with me, checking your boy out. The positive feedback keeps me going because sometimes you just don't feel like doing it. You get off from work and you're like, look, last thing I'm going to do is make a video. But since y'all going to keep watching, I'm going to keep making these videos. And I just want to let y'all know I really do appreciate it. So now we're going to get into kicking off week 6 of this fantastic NFL action with a disclaimer. I don't know if you see behind me, but this is the old Sports Illustrated cover when the Baltimore Ravens beat the New York Giants in the Super Bowl. And this is specifically for my man First. He had so much to say in the Discord. He was yapping and yapping about what he was going to do and what he was going to say if the Giants win. Are the Giants going to win? No, they're not. I have no fear. I have no worries. Yes, y'all beat Green Bay last week. I give you props for that. You're doing better than expected. But come on, First, let's be real. It's New York sports. And we all know what happens in New York sports. Eventually, they let you down, bruh. I won't be mad if you hop on a Lamar train, come on over here with us. We got room. So let's get into this preview of the Baltimore Ravens traveling up to New York City, New Jersey, technically, to take on the New York Giants in MetLife Stadium, which is also shared by the Jets. So we're pretty familiar with it, being that we were there week 1. Now, don't get me wrong. I was joking before. Listen, any given Sunday, an NFL team can beat another. And if we kind of have a sluggish performance like we had last week, it may be a closer game than many of us expect. But once again, we have Lamar Jackson, and I reckon he's not going to have 3 subpar games in a row. I've never seen it, or I just haven't paid attention to it, but I doubt that it can happen. Lamar is going to show out against New York. And as it says right there, Baltimore Bullies, this is the kind of football I want the Ravens to get back to. I want them punishing, destroying, just terrifying the mess out of these other teams. But look, don't get me wrong. New York they have a little bravado. They got a little swag going on right now. We are 3-2 and they are 4-1. And granted, nobody expected them in London last week to beat Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers, especially when they went down by 10. Everybody was like, oh, this game is over. It's early morning. Keep pushing in. I'm going to go do some housework. But lo and behold, hey, they like that little brother that wants to follow you to the park. It's like, no, you can't go. No, you can't go. Stop. All right, come on. Let's go. And eventually they pulled out the win. Now, aside from the Green Bay win, you can say that they really haven't beaten anybody, but hey, a win is a win, and it's versus an NFL team. So I'm not going to delegitimize what they've done because they do have a better record than we do. With that being said, the Giants play Baltimore Ravens football, so to speak. They rely heavily on the run and their defense. Now, overall, their defense doesn't really concern me, but their nose tackle, Dexter Lawrence, boy, showing out. When them cameras are on, he shows out. You look at him and say, hey, he's not in shape, but he gets out there, he hustles, and he makes plays. He can be very disruptive. So I think that Linderbaum, Powers, and Zeitler, they might have their hands full depending on how they line him up and how they scheme him. This might be a real test for them come Sunday. Now, when everybody plays Baltimore, of course, for some reason they want to give their best. So with Kayvon Thibodeau, who's, is this his breakout game? I know he got injured early in camp, and so he was coming back from that. But as far as from a top 5 pick, 7 tackles total is what he has for the season. I'm not buying it. I think he has a breakout game coming. Hopefully, it's not going to be this game, but you just never know. If we can contain him and Lawrence, it'll make our day a little bit easier. So we probably have to run the ball directly at them to kind of keep them off balance and keep this game going. So we need our offensive line to be up to par. Now, the good news with that is, what did we have last week? We had the return of Ronnie Stanley. After 2 years of waiting and hoping and wishing and praying, we got to see a little tidbit of him. They rotated him in and out just to make sure we didn't have another kind of occurrence that we had with Las Vegas last year in the first game, where he gets injured and goes out and we probably never see him again. But he looked good. Like, I can't lie. I was surprised. He looked strong. He looked like an all-pro left tackle to me. And that's only going to bolster this line. Now, can we keep it going? Let's hope so. And also, do you smell that? It smells like health. It smells like people getting healthy. Gus's return to practice, Tyus Bowser's return to practice. Listen, I think even David Ajabo has come into practice, and Lord knows we need some healthy bodies in that outside linebacker position. We need all the help we can get to get pressure on these quarterbacks. Now, I think for this game, we might be safe. Daniel Jones is not that guy. He never was that guy. Listen, I'm a Duke fan. Duke basketball. Duke football, it's never been great to me. Like, I just never could root for them in football because they were never that good. And Daniel Jones being a top 6 pick, I don't know what Dave Gettleman was thinking, but hey, you made your bed, you have to lie in it. Now, don't get me wrong. He may not be the conventional passer that they wanted him to be. And a lot of that had to do with the Giants, their offensive coordinators, their scheme. And now more than ever, it is their wide receivers. Kenny Galladay's hurt. Wan'Dale Robinson's hurt. University of Florida, he'll probably never play. What is his name? Kadarius Toney, that guy. Doesn't matter. It's University of Florida. Those wide receivers don't do much anyway. But listen, he's not getting much help. So if we stop this run game, which is a tall task, it's a lot to say if you just have to worry about the run game. It's a lot to be just like, you know what? We stop the run, we win the game. But Saquon Barkley is Saquon Barkley. He is back. I was very skeptical because once you see recurrent issues of you come in, you play well, you get injured. You come in, you play well, you get injured. You start thinking it's a pattern and you just wait for it to happen again. But Saquon is like, aha, I fooled y'all. I'm back and I'm here to stay, especially in the contract year and especially if he possibly wants to stay with the New York Giants. But he is the straw that stirs that drink. He is the engine that moves that car. Listen, Saquon is the offense, rushing and receiving. And if we don't stop him, it's going to be a long day. Now, as far as when the Ravens have the ball, one big question is, will Rashad Bateman be back? I haven't checked the wire or anything. I haven't looked at any publications. I don't know if he's actually tried to practice, close to coming back. But we saw without him, even with all Devin Duvernay's doing, like props off, hats off to him, he's out kicking his coverage. Hey, a lot of us are wrong. He's doing his thing, but he's not a number one. He's not. We can scheme him the ball any way we can. We can jet sweep him to death, but he's not a number one. We need somebody to dictate that coverage away from Mark Andrews. Even though, listen, that chemistry between Lamar and Mark is undeniable. Like, he knows where he's going to be. So if we can get Mark going, somehow free up Duvernay and get these other guys involved, it's going to be an easy day for us. But if we can't, we have to run the ball and pick our spots in the passing game. Look, I know. You're going to say, but Hendo, Likely, Prochet, and Wallace had a catch last week. I know. It's like a lunar eclipse. Probably never see it again in our lifetime. We might, but who knows? But we can't depend on what ifs and maybes. Listen, I know a lot of the flock believes that this is going to be an easy win. I'm not too certain. It may be closer than expected. Can the Giants win? Yeah, they play keep away and have timely plays and get some turnovers, and they shut down a run. Things could get tough for us, but hey, in the end, we are Baltimore. We are the Baltimore Bullies. Remember that. Even though we don't always play like it, we need to have that mentality. We need to impose our will on these teams and let them know this is Baltimore. I don't give a damn where we play at. We're the Ravens. All right, let's get into this Week 6 NFL action not pertaining to the Baltimore Ravens. So Thursday night, Thursday night, we have the Washington Commies, taking on the Chicago Bears. I think I'm going to take a nap. This game bores me even thinking about it. We have Carson Wentz versus Justin Fields. Now, don't get me wrong. I am a Justin Fields fan. I wish the best for that kid, but come on now. It took him 5 weeks to pass for over 200 yards, and it's not all on him. If you want to have a debate about worst wide receiver room, Baltimore or Chicago might win that bet. They're not giving him any help. Their offensive line is atrocious. Sounds kind of familiar, but he's not Lamar. Anyway, Carson Wentz, he's up and down. Like, for some reason, teams just don't like him. They trade for him, they get him in, he lets him down. The head coaches don't like him. Ron Rivera just sat back and was like, listen, you want to know what's wrong with this team? Quarterback. That says it all. He took Washington down the field to put him in position to win last week. And what does he do at the goal line? He throws an interception. Only Carson Wentz and maybe Matt Stafford. So in this snooze fest of a game, oh geez. So you got Robinson for Washington. You got her. I guess I'm going to have to go with, it's Thursday night, and I can't go against the prop of betting against the home team. So I'm going to take Chicago for the win. I guess I won't see it. All right, starting off our slate of 1 o'clock games on Sunday, we have the Cincinnati Bengals traveling to New Orleans to take on the Saints. Now, we know Cincinnati, tough loss last week. It's Baltimore, what you expect? They didn't look as cohesive as I thought they would have coming into week 5, but they had some injuries. T. Higgins went out. Don't know if he's going to play this week, but they're going against a New Orleans team that Jameis Winston has been on the sideline for a couple of weeks, and Andy Dalton has been quarterbacking. But I guess the good news for them is they had Taysom, Tim Tebow Hill at tight end, quarterback, running back, whatever position that man plays, and he had 4 touchdowns. Are they going to utilize him like that again? Possibly so. I would normally go with the home team, but I think I'm going to pick Cincinnati for redemption to win this game. Next up, we have the Baltimore Ravens, like I said, traveling to New York, New Jersey, Newark, wherever the hell they are, to take on the New York Giants. As stated earlier, if we can shut down the run game with Saquon Barkley, put a little bit of pressure on Daniel Jones. Now, don't sleep. Daniel Jones is not a runner, but he can run. If we can kind of shut that down and get in a groove offensively, we can start running the ball, dictating the pace. Baltimore is going to win this game easily. Next on the docket, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Indianapolis Colts in Indianapolis. Jacksonville already beat them once, but they normally do every year at home. No surprise, they normally lose on the road. Matt Ryan is not playing good ball. Jonathan Taylor, is he still out? I hope not, because I had him on a couple fantasy football teams. Kind of let me down, and he hasn't been running very well even when he's in there. What the hell is wrong with Quentin Nelson? I thought he was supposed to be this generational guard that is supposed to be the best in the biz. I don't know. I guess everybody has a down year, but with this one, you know what? I think I'm going to go with Jacksonville. I think Trevor Lawrence is taking a step. That defense is getting a lot better. They actually have real coaching. So yeah, Jacksonville is going to take this one, and he's looking terrible. We have the Minnesota Vikings traveling to Miami to take on the Dolphins. Now, what do we say? Don't know what you're going to get with Kirk Cousins. Listen, Jamal Jefferson is a dog. Jamal Jefferson might be the best wide receiver in the NFL. I got Devontae Adams on my team, but Justin Jefferson is that dude. But for some reason, they have up and down weeks. Jamal Jefferson can go off for 10 catches, 167 yards this week. Next week, he'll have 4 catches for 32 yards. I don't know. Dalvin Cook is nursing a shoulder injury, so that might kind of inhibit them a little bit. But Miami is without Tua. And who's their starting quarterback? Skylar Thompson? Something like that dude. And I know he was thrown into the fray last week, but he's had a week of practice. Things might be better. Is Tyreek Hill going to play? This is going to be an interesting game. But I think if it's still humid down in Miami, that might be a little bit too much for Minnesota. So I'm going to go with the Vikings for the win. In another, I don't know what I'm going to get game, you have the New England Patriots traveling to Cleveland to take on the Browns. Now, I don't know what to say. Listen, Nick Chubb, I love Nick Chubb. He is a superstar running back that you don't hear much about because he keeps quiet. He keeps to himself. He doesn't boast. He doesn't make noise. He just goes and works. And that's the kind of people that I rock with. Workers, not talkers, just straight workers. But Jacoby Brissett, I knew he was bad, but watching that game last week when he stood at the goal line and threw to a dude standing directly in front of him. You can't say it was the disguised coverage. You can't say he didn't see the guy out the corner of his eye. He was literally standing directly in front of him and cocked back and just threw it right there for the interception. Lost him the game. New England, I don't know if Zappy or Mac Jones is playing. They've looked a little bit better. Bill Belichick, is he going to take his team out of this funk? You know what? I'm going to go with Cleveland. I think New England is just bad enough for them to win. So Cleveland for the win. Now, what could actually turn out to be a good game? We have the New York, New Jersey Jets traveling up to Wisconsin to play the Green Bay Packers. Now, Aaron Rodgers and the team had a little bit of a letdown last week. I know that they said, hey, they didn't score much after halftime, and that's on them. But the defense, which actually was playing pretty well for the beginning of the season, kind of let New York back into the game. Are they going to have a hangover from traveling back from London, which is another thing I didn't think about with the Giants? But hey, jet lag is real. Zach Wilson's come back. He's looked decent. I think the Jets are building something special over there, and I think Breece Hall is a special player. And the Jets defense is pretty underrated. Sauce Gardner, I think he's as good as advertised. Listen, I know people are down. I'm like, listen, you didn't play anybody at Cincinnati, but the boy has skills. I can't even lie. I can't hold you. Dude's got skills. Defense is getting better. So I'm going to pick an upset. This is my upset special? Yes, it is. This will be my upset special. The New York Jets defeat the Green Bay Packers. So the Green Bay Packers will lose 2 in a row. And another possible boring game. We have the San Francisco 49ers traveling down to the A-Town to take on the Atlanta Falcons. Now, Jimmy Garoppolo, ultimate game manager, does what he needs to do. He wins games, except for the important ones. But he wins games. And that defense, he has a defense to lean on and a ground game that you cannot deny. Kyle Shanahan, that is a real run game guru. Atlanta, no Cordell Patterson. Kyle Pitts, is he coming back? No Calvin Ridley. And Marcus Mariota's quarterback. So I think this is pretty much an easy win. San Francisco with the blowout. And then the last 1 o'clock game for Sunday, a game that will be near and dear to my heart. We have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking on the 1-4 Pittsburgh Steelers with Kenny Pickett starting his second game. Now, some of y'all don't know, I just acquired George Pickens in fantasy, so I need them two to go off. But we all know what's about to happen. We all know that Pittsburgh is going to lose unless Mike Tomlin pulls that horseshoe out his ass and finds some miraculous way to get on a win streak to stop him from being under 500 for the first time. But I think Tom Brady's on a mission. You know, Tampa Bay's always had a defense, and I don't think that Pittsburgh's offensive line is going to be able to handle those linebackers or that defensive front. Najee Harris has not looked special to me this year. And aside from a couple of long passes, Pittsburgh's offense is terrible. Defense has regressed since TJ Watt has gone down. I know Highsmith has played at a high level. Minkah Fitzpatrick is a dog. But I think that they lost the spirit of their team, and Tampa Bay is going to win big, which is dear to my heart. Because my friends, my brother, they love Pittsburgh, and I'm going to revel in it. And I'm going to call them and joke them and make fun of them all week. Now, for the start of the 4 o'clock games, we have the Arizona Cardinals traveling to the Pacific Northwest to take on the Seattle Seahawks and Geno Smith. Never been a believer in Geno Smith. Coming out of West Virginia, I was like, this dude's average. But Geno has been lighting it up. There has only been one quarterback cooking, and it ain't Russ. And now that I think about it, it's not Kyler either. But Kyler's got that secret weapon. He's got Hollywood Brown. Getting them yak yards, making them tough catches, not dropping the ball. For those of y'all that like to talk. I know a receiver that does drop the ball, though. But anywho, with that being said, Rashad Penny's out for the year. They have Kenneth Walker, who I think is going to be a dog in the upcoming years. I think he is actually going to be something, and this is his time to get acclimated to being a starter. This is going to be a tight game, but I think being that they are home with the 12th man, Seattle is going to pull out the win. Next up, we have the Disappointment Bowl. We have the Carolina Panthers traveling to Los Angeles to take on the defending champion Los Angeles Rams. What the hell is wrong with the Rams? And I know a lot of people are like, I told you, you don't go all in, you don't buy into these players, you don't do that. No, that's not it. I don't know what it is. They have the talent. They have the talent on the team. They have the same players from last year. The offensive line is a mess. They don't have Andrew Whitworth. And that left tackle makes a difference when you have to plug and play people in there. The run game has always been atrocious. That is the one thing that I have to nag Sean McVay on. Like, he's never really established a very good run game. I know he had Gurley, and Gurley made some stuff happen, but ever since then, it's been pretty much downhill. Carolina, they just fired their coach, Matt Rule. Thank you, Jesus, to all my cousins from the Carolina Panther fandom. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Now we have Steve Wilkes running the show, but we still have Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold as the QB of the Panthers, and both of them are hurt right now. So XFL great PJ Walker is going to take the helm. Now, I've said it before, I'll say it again. You ride CMC, pause, until you can't anymore. And I guess they're trying to stop him from getting injured. But listen, let him go. Let's see what he can do. Let's see if he's durable enough. And, if you're trying to trade him, put him out there. Let teams know, look, he can be a workhorse back. He's worth all the money. Let's see what happens. Try to get that win because apparently you cannot pass. You're not utilizing DJ Moore. You're wasting a good defense. So with that being said, I think that the defending champs bounce back and trounce Carolina because I don't think I'm going to pick Carolina anymore to win this year. So the Rams for the win. Now, in my WTF reality, you have the Buffalo Bills traveling to Kansas City in a 4:00 game. How is this not primetime? How is this not Sunday night? How is this not Monday night? Even Thursday night football. How the hell do you put this game at 4:00? You have probably or arguably two of the 3 or 4 best QBs in the league. You have 2 or 4 of the greatest teams in the league with the best odds to win a Super Bowl playing against each other. And they're a 4:00 game. Listen, I guess that means I just don't have to stay up late. So that might be a bonus. Anywho, I think this game is going to be a shootout. Buffalo's predicted to win everything under the sun in the NFL this year. But Patrick Mahomes is like, look, I'm still Patty Mahomes. Like, I'm still that dude. I don't have Tyreek Hill, but watch what I do. I have Travis Kelce, and he might just be enough. And after seeing that game on Monday night, I believe him. I think it's going to be a shootout. It's going to be one costly mistake or 13 seconds at the end of the game, and Kansas City is going to pull this out once again. Now for the Sunday night football game. Why, oh why, must every primetime game I turn on, I see the Dallas Cowboys? Somebody please tell me why. Tell me why South America's team is everywhere. Even though they're 4-1, nobody knew that they were going to be this good. Because every year we pretend like they are or they're going to be, and it doesn't come to fruition. Why? Why do we need to see them? But this actually might be a good, exciting game for once. You got the 4-1 Cowboys against the 5-0 only undefeated team in the NFL, Philadelphia Eagles. Now, is Jalen Hurts that man? Is he that dude? Has he taken that step to the next echelon of quarterbacks? We shall find out on Sunday night because he's got to go against Micah Parsons and what is his name? Lawrence. I don't remember his first name. And Dallas's defense is legit. I give them that. Are they going to have enough to remain undefeated? I don't know. Is Cooper Rush going to remain in at quarterback if he defeats the Eagles? I know that they're saying Dak Prescott is getting close to returning. He's throwing footballs right now. The man doesn't want to lose his job. He doesn't. He knows what happened with him and Tony Romo. It's like, listen, if they get hot and they keep winning, why would you bring Dakota Prescott back into the game? I wouldn't. I'd ride the hot hand. Pause. But I think the clock has struck 12. The ride turned back into a pumpkin, and the Dallas Cowboys revert to their former selves. And the Eagles are going to win by at least 7 points. And speaking of overrated primetime teams that I am literally tired of seeing week in and week out, Monday Night Football, we have the Denver Broncos, Bronco Country, let's ride, taking on the Los Angeles Chargers. Monday Night Football. I know I can't be mad at this one because I know that they thought this was going to be an exciting upper tier matchup between two of the league's best quarterbacks. But we have Russell Sierra Wilson playing formerly injured Justin Herbert. I know Keenan Allen's still on the mend, so that kind of takes a little bit away from San Diego's offense, but I thought their defense would be a lot better, especially since acquiring J.C. Jackson and Khalil Mack. Hasn't lived up to the billing, but once again, like people say, it's only week 6. They need time to gel. Hopefully they gel and get stuff together, and become that formidable defense that they're paying all that money for. But I do know Joey Bosa's hurt, so that kind of takes a little steam out of their engine. With that being said, I think with the way that Russell Wilson has shown us and been playing lately, I think that the Chargers win this one easily because Russell Wilson looks absolutely horrible. I mean, horrible. And I know that they say he was injured, but that does not take away from his decision making. Like, your arm can be hurt all you want, but if I see 3 dudes covering one, I'm not throwing in that direction. I'm going over there. But that's just me. And week 6 is actually the first bye week during the season. So we have off at Detroit, Houston, Las Vegas, and Tennessee. So that's 2 less games we have this week. Hopefully you make those corrections to your teams during the bye week that can help you win. I thank you for stopping by. Listen, like, leave a comment, subscribe if you have not. Come back, watch these videos. I appreciate you all. And until next time, Ravens flock, let's fly.